Welcome back, everyone. A photo of 4 women showing their post-baby bodies is going viral. These mom bloggers posted the picture to social media with the hopes of changing the way society views postpartum bodies. They all posted the image on their Instagram accounts with the quote, "Real women are fat and thin and both and neither and otherwise." While many commenters praised the women for being open about their changing bodies, others were less than kind. That's terrible. Okay, so we decided to dive right into that. One of those lovely ladies, Katie Crenshaw, is from right here in Atlanta. She joins us now for our Real Talk with the founder of So Worth Loving, Erin, Eddie, and of course, Kara. Hi, guys.
Awesome.
Okay, so let's talk about this. What was that like? Here you think that you're doing something positive, and then to see some of those comments.
Well, welcome to my whole blogging life, I feel like. But yeah, we got together. We all had similar missions. We wanted to take a picture together since we had met for the first time. And yeah, I mean, we were expecting a few trolls, and we got more than a few. So it was, you know, someone's always going to miss the message.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
I would
that's
like
so
to think that I would have been that brave because, like, you're like, I want to show people what it's really like. It's like okay to talk about. Like, I feel like it's much easier to talk about, but to actual show yourself like in your underwear, like that's so brave. It is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
And again, I think a lot of the response, and we want to mention, was very positive and supportive. But the mean-spiritedness, I mean, again, if this is what you do for a living, you know, you get the comments. But were you surprised by maybe some of the blows and how low people would go?
I don't know if I was surprised as much as I just felt so, like, I felt their hurt. Like, everybody's bringing their own experiences and their past, and, you know, they're bringing all that to the table. And so they're not happy in
their own lives.
Yeah, and they feel like they need to cover up. And they, you know, this is all stuff that's going on with them. So having a daughter and things like that, it just makes me energized because I'm like, I don't want her to grow up that way. And so just keeps me going, really.
Yeah. And Erin, what do you think about, I mean, you know, obviously doing what you do as well, and how do you separate your feelings? Because you know you're putting it out there.
Yeah.
So how can you just, you know, really kind of compartmentalize?
That's been always a hard thing for me to struggle with because I am a people pleaser. So when I hear like people projecting, it's really projection. And hurt people. So,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
So I think that when I hear somebody attacking me or my character, I know that there's something in me that I triggered actually in them that's going on. And I'm sure that you saw a lot of that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
you guys are very mature.
I know. I would
Such a
be
good
like,
way to look at it. It's true.
There's
It's
like
true.
one of us from the photo that is like the comment warrior.
that would be me. I'd be like, let me tell you something.
She's handling it for us. I'm like,
Get in there.
I'm like, don't screenshot me these anymore. I can't take it.
Right. And that's another thing too. And I've read a lot of celebrities feel that way. You know, I mean, because you can really go down that path and just get sucked in, and it's overwhelming, and it's just so toxic for your soul.
Yeah.
Especially if you really like, you know, you went in and you did something with the best intentions and stay true. And in fact, one of our Facebook, we actually posted this story, and Charlotte said, "Brave women, remember, it's what's on the inside that counts." And really, that's what it's all about. You guys were true to who you are. Also, Mona said, "What do you think a woman's body will look like after housing a baby for 9 months? People just need to worry about themselves and stop judging others."
Yeah.
So true. And I feel like, though, we've talked about women empowering other women on this show often. And I don't know, maybe just us being who we are, we always feel like we're very supportive. We want, I'm a woman lover. When you see things like this, it really is just kind of crushing that maybe we haven't come as far as we have.
Yeah.
Or what do you think?
Yeah, well, I want to say first off, like, any woman that's able to show their body and be so transparent to where they're at, like, you're helping another person feel less alone in what they are experiencing. And we live in a very filtered world. And so, I don't know, I think we have to look at it from that lens. I know for me, like, any woman that I've like admired the way that they look or could make me feel intimidated or insecure about myself, I can actually learn from them instead. Like, tell me how to do your makeup. Like, I don't know how to do my makeup like that. Like, tell me. Instead of like I don't know, bash or pick
Right.
apart. It's really
Right.
out of a place of insecurity.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it's all relative too, right? So you kind of need to meet people where they are, because your problem might not be somebody else's problem, but that doesn't make their problem less valid, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
everybody's going through their
Yes.
own thing, and like you were saying earlier, Katie, everybody is like bringing their own stuff to the
Yeah.
table, like no matter what. So I think it's just like so important to keep that empathy when you're
Yeah.
dealing with other
the only
people,
way.
because you never know. You never know
Right.
what somebody else is going through. It
And-
doesn't excuse any of that
Yeah.
horrible behavior,
No.
obviously,
But that's a real test of your will and,
Yeah.
and really, again, kind of compartmentalizing and finding that spot within you to stay strong, and also think about influencing like my 8 and 10-year-old who now do TikToks and Musical.lys, and even sometimes I'm always on the phone and I can see, and somebody might say, well, that was lame or that was dumb, and I'm like, delete, who is this person?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
starts so young. Well, another study talked about the ways that we undermine one another, and these are just a list of the common things that need to stop. Okay, belittling each other's makeup and wardrobe choices. Sometimes women do this when they actually like what they see, but they don't think they could pull it off, so they say something negative. Experts say even if you seriously don't like it, keep it to yourself instead of knocking this person down to satisfy your own ego. Yeah, I mean, if you really don't like it, I don't think I've ever really taken the time to comment, you know?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's also, really important to not do in front of our daughters.
Yes.
Even
yes.
little things. I've talked about this before. Even saying someone walking across the street shouldn't be in those jeans, and your daughter hears you, like, this is where it starts.
Yes, 100%.
And so I feel like we need to really watch what we're saying, even the tiniest things.
Yeah,
So good.
I completely agree with you. And mine really, especially my 10-year-old, like she's really getting it. And yesterday somebody came up to me and we had been running and I didn't feel that great. I was like, hi, sorry, I'm sweaty. And the person was just saying that how much she enjoyed the show. And my oldest said, Mom, were you feeling bad because you weren't looking like your best? And I said, no. I mean, I didn't want to get sweat on her, but no,
Right.
I was okay. I'm a person who, just enjoying my Sunday with my. But it was interesting that she asked that.
They pick
So
up on it.
we have to be careful of what they're hearing us say. Hating on each other's success. Some women don't follow the norms as outlined by tradition. So next time you think it's sad that your friend doesn't have a baby or a husband, look at the ways that she's killing it in life, and the other ways that you can be happy for her. First of all, it's none of your business, but
Right.
Sorry,
That's true.
but yeah, and definitely don't hate on anyone else's success. What do you think about that? You guys don't strike
This
me
is
as
the
a type.
hardest one for me, actually, because I can't stand it when people aren't happy for other people. I'm like,
yeah.
what does her or his success have to do with your happiness?
Right.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I think you learn the lesson quickly in this industry, especially because somebody's always getting promoted, somebody always got that story, somebody always, and it's probably not you. And I always, I learned early on, if it's not me, it's my fault. It's something I did. Now if I was giving 100%, then you have the moment to be like, oh, I wish I got that.
Sure.
But you move on and you be happy for those people. Because what good does it do to sit in your,
Yeah, and
You're
compare.
like, yeah.
Because it's
Compare.
comparison,
Nothing.
really,
Right.
is what it is. I feel like
people stop doing that. It's not worth your time.
Okay, and then insulting each other's intelligence. Opinionated, outspoken women are labeled feminists or crazy. Ooh, I can't stand that crazy. While more low-key female personalities are labeled weak. Experts say we should celebrate one another's successes instead of pointing out how we're flawed. I mean, it should be easier to lift people up than tear them down. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest, because I don't feel like I surround myself with women who do any of this.
Yeah. Mhm.
So I'm still like, grow up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I filter them out of my life because
Yeah.
if they're not contributing to building me up,
Right.
how can I aspire to do something good?
Yes. Right.
Right? Because I can't even look inwardly at what's good because someone else keeps putting that on me, that negativity, the comparison, the judgment, the picking, pick.
Yes, but I mean, this seems so foreign to me because again, it's like the circle of people that I surround
Right.
myself with, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know you're the same way. Well,
Yeah.
it's people like Kara who are always so, if anything, it's more in any of these situations, what can I do to help or to be there for you or to to serve your life or help with your children and family. It's just, it's the opposite
It's such
of
like
this
a
garbage.
problem in society too, where we mistake people's kindness for weakness. Like, how sad is that? That's so sad. Somebody's trying to be kind, we're like, that must be weak.
Yeah, right.
No,
Let me ask
it's
you,
nice.
moving
Enjoy
forward,
it.
would you do anything differently, or will you continue on the path that you have been on?
I started my platform to be a more authentic mom version of what was going on in media, and there were times when I wanted to quit the internet, but overall I'm 100% going to keep doing it and keep branching out in other areas. The messages, you know, that I've saved in my little folder on my phone are what keep me going, and the lives that have been changed, and women who have never worn a bathing suit without a cover up and they're 50 years old. Like, those messages mean so much more than 100 evil messages.
No,
So
it
good.
makes me teary-eyed.
So I'll
That
keep
is
going,
true.
too.
And you just, again, stay true to yourself. You're beautiful inside and out. All of you are. Thank you. Don't forget that.
Thank you.
And so is Trent, and he's coming up next.